We are Steve and Jill.
Together, we've been buying and reselling land since the 90s.
Our data-centric approach leaves our buyers asking, how can you sell it so cheap?
Here on the Land Academy Show,
We answer that and more. I'm Steve and Jack Butala.
And I'm Jill DeWit, and this is the Land Academy Show.
This is episode number 2204. Today, Jill and I are talking about the two tools that changed everything for us. And I just learned 1 second ago that they're very different from both of us. My tools are different than Jill's.
You didn't look at my list, did you? Okay, don't. I'm covering it up. If you're watching us now, I'm covering up my list.
Spoiler alert, I have 3.
Oh.
Sorry.
Well, you called me one of the tools last week.
You are one still.
Okay, got it. So you added 2 more.
Hey, all week this week, it's reality week again. Last week was reality week. Numbers came out great. So this week we're doing a reality week for your land business again today.
Whether or not you like it.
We're talking about the two or three tools that changed everything for us on Tuesday. What the next 10 years of land investing might look like. Not might look like. I'm pretty sure they're going to look like what I think they're going to look like. Wednesday, succeeding in a market everyone says is too crowded. Thursday, making the land business your own, not just copying others. And then finally on Friday, revisiting the why behind your land business and really the why of anything.
I love it.
Each day on the show, we answer a question from our Land Academy member Discord forum, take a deep dive into land-related topics by popular request.
Okay. Joseph wrote, hey, y'all. Question about a piece of property I'm vetting, which I'm assuming his word is doing my due diligence on. The seller owns the adjacent property, and the only way to access this property is through an easement over his property, which doesn't yet exist. What would you do here? Negotiate an easement? And for how much? I like this question. May I go first?
Yes,
please?
first and final.
Okay, good.
Property doesn't have access.
I would make that. Well, we scroll back. The person owns 2 properties. Let's just say he owns the front 40 and the back 40, and he's selling the back 40. But you can't get to the back 40 without going through the front 40. I think this is easy, and I love these transactions. I would just say, dear seller, I will happily buy the back 40 as long as it comes with an easement written in writing that we could get to the back 40. And let's talk money.
Yes.
That's it.
Yes. So
I'm not gonna bump up the price. I'm not gonna add anything to it. I'm just say, look, this is part of the deal. I need to be able to, or my buyer or somebody, however it pans out, they need to be able to get there. I'm gonna follow up one more thing too. I wouldn't go all the way through with all of it. I would have it in writing, and let your buyer, because I'm not gonna take the time unless I know this county really well and it's a real fast, easy process. I would just get it in writing and then sell it with that in writing, so that buyer has the option to act on it.
If you walk into a jewelry store, Jill.
Correct.
And you
I may or may not have experience with this. Go ahead.
Look into the case.
Yes.
And there's a beautiful ring that it's got, I don't know, big center. Well, you're not a big center diamond person, but It's got a cluster of diamonds and then maybe some black onyx around it, and it's in, I don't know, white, yellow, gold, and it's your size, but it's expensive.
I got the picture.
Right next to it, or in the case there's a case next to that case. There's a couple of rings in there that you love, but they're a mess. You have to put some diamonds into it. You have to clean it all up. You basically have to be your own jeweler, but you have to basically complete the ring before you can enjoy it, but it's a lot cheaper. Which one do you buy?
I've bought both. Remember that?
Well, of course,
sometimes
both is your answer.
Diamond in the rough. Like, remember that ring?
You know what? In fact, I'll take all of these.
Do you remember the white buffalo ring? I got the smoking deal on a beautiful white buffalo. I love it. Ring in Estes Park, Colorado, because it was kind of forgotten and it was on the discount table and it just needed to be polished up. I love that ring. I wear it all the time. I'm not wearing it today. But anyway, I buy both. So sorry if I messed up your exercise.
No, you didn't at all. It's the same thing if you walk into a house that's completely done. It's within your budget, and now all you need to do is just execute a mortgage. Most people want it that way.
Right.
Versus, the HGTV way, where you buy a house that's almost free, but you have to spend a year, maybe 2 in some cases, cleaning it all up, putting it together, and while you're raising a family and you have a job. So there's both types of people. And whoever you are listening to this, you're generally going to be a DIY, clean it up yourself type person, or you're going to be somebody who just wants it all cleaned up and done. And I tend to be, the older I get, somebody who wants it all done. Earlier in my life, I was a total DIY person, and we did really well with that. So every time you're looking at a property and pricing it, and get inside the person who's going to buy their head, the person who's going to buy it from you. If this is a DIY property, then sell it that way and make sure it's priced that way. I love bombed out mobile homes because there's so many people, DIY type people, that are going to look at that and say, if it's, oh, that's the right price, I'm just going to drop a new mobile home on there. I've done this 3 times before. And make sure the piece of dirt's priced that way, and leave that bombed out mobile home right on there when you go to sell it. Don't clean it up. Or replace it for them, and you're going to get a different type of customer who's willing to pay full price and probably go get a mortgage. When you have a piece of land that you can't get to it, you better be priced cheap, because somebody's going to have to figure out, even if it has legal access, someone's got to put in a driveway somehow, whatever that version of that is. Jill got bored.
Yep.
Today's topic, the 2 or 3 tools that change everything for us.
It was a good story.
Jill, you go first.
So I was thinking about this, and let me remind everyone, Land Academy is now 10 years. I've been at this over 16 years with you. I have a little bit of experience before that, real estate, and then you've been at this 30-something years. So I was thinking back, and what are the main things that have changed for me? And I got 2 things that really changed for me from 16, 20 years ago to today. One is our tracking systems. You know, back in the day, we've had spreadsheets, we had Google Drive sheets, we had Excel sheets. You created a proprietary software that it was kind of before you could get this. You created one. What did we call that? I can't remember what we called it, but our database that
Call it the database.
Yeah, and we would have to VPN remotely into the database when we were traveling to access our files and the seller information and buyer information and the property information and the photos and anything about the posting and things like that. I remember that. And there was an acquisition section, an engineering section, and a sales section. You had it divided into 3 things, and that just carried into all kinds of other stuff. It was really cool. But now to fast forward to today, oh my gosh, in Land Academy, here's your Airtable template. It's filled out, ready for you to go. Start plugging in your property. There's no learning curve. It's so easy. You click it and you put it in there too. No having to write a format. Oh my gosh. Even back in those days, you had to type things to get stuff entered in, and so it would sit in the cell, and it's just crazy. So it's so much easier and faster to track not only properties moving through the system. One of the
things that's changed everything for you is a CRM.
Yeah.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. In a really big way. Because I don't have to wake up in the morning and go look at every single property and figure out what I need to do. I have 10 in play. What do I have to do today? It's really easy with a CRM where I go, okay, I got to call that person back. This one, I'm waiting for the photos. This one, I can go by sections. I can pull them up 6 different ways to see what I need to see. One of these, I could put them on the calendar. I could look at a calendar at a glance and see when things are closing on the buy side and the sell side and just be ready for it all. It's so nice and easy and customizable. That's the thing too. It's not, you have to learn, like I had to learn the way you set up our system. That's it. This is how it goes. Now I can do it however I do. And every person, like in our personal land company CRM, there are multiple different views. I look at a different view than the transaction team looks at, and the selling team looks at, and the inbound call team looks at. They all have different views, and people helping doing due diligence behind the scenes have different views, and no one's going to mess everything up too. I remember too the days, even floppy disk backing up data.
Oh yeah.
Every night.
Yep.
Before you left.
Multiple disks.
Because you didn't want to. You didn't want to lose anything overnight. So it's just a game changer. Now with a click of a button, I can go back in history and recapture the spreadsheet, 3 moves ago or 3 days ago kind of thing. So I love it. The second thing that really over time, a tool that just changed everything for me in land is how easy phone numbers are now. It's really, I don't know if it's just technology. It's not even related to cell phones, but just technology. How I'm going into a meeting, I can push a button and my calls can go to somebody else, so we don't miss them. I can push a button and they can go to Pat Live. I can set up timers so they go there.
The two tools that you've chosen that were life-changing for you and made you ridiculously wealthy in real estate are sales tools.
Yes, they are.
They've made your sales job easier.
Yes, they have.
That's so glad. Mine couldn't be more different, and I'm so glad you brought those up.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have another one that's noteworthy?
Nope, that was it.
Sorry, I'm gonna take.
I was told to bring two.
I'm going to give you my 2 or 3 in chronological order, and I'm with a tiny bit of a 30-second backstory. I've been in real estate my entire life. In the mid 1990s, I bought a piece of property on eBay and resold it for twice as much. It's in the ebook if you want details on that, and I was hooked forever. And so from that point in my career, I said a sentence to myself: all I got to do is figure out how to buy properties cheaper than what I bought them for on eBay. That's my one thing in life I have to do, and it turned out that way. That it all happened that way. So my way to do that was to go to auctions back in the day, and so I traveled all around the Southwest, standing on steps and court steps and in libraries and buying properties and shipping them back, shipping the information back to my 1 or 2 person staff here in Scottsdale. And they posted them on eBay and resold them, and we doubled our money. This is for a lot of years. Well, that dried up, like everything dries up. There's a beginning and a middle and an end to everything, just like that. So I realized, out of necessity, I needed to figure out a better way to buy cheap property. So enter RealQuest, which is a data aggregation company. At the time, it was First American Title's data arm. And so from there, I developed the concept of a mailer that we still use today. So data is my number one. That data changed my life. Getting ownership data all across the country for everybody who owned land and sending mail out and things like that.
Well, and not even, like, you could have got that before in CD format, which you did, or in physical format. It was changing it to where you could sit at your computer and get it all over.
Yeah, I'm trying to paraphrase here. I used to go to the counties and actually get the actual data. There's several counties that made you sit there and extrapolate it. So, but anyway, data in all its forms, and we still use data today, and there's still, I think the most recent tool we use is PropStream. Anyway, so a lot of years went by, very successful years, made a ton of money, did great, sat on the back of a yacht and the whole thing, and entered 2009-ish, 8-9, and everybody just stopped buying property. The whole real estate market tanked. It was a real estate depression. Brought me to my knees financially, both personally and professionally, and Jill and I very luckily at that time met each other. So my number 2 is Jill. So she came in, and I'm so glad your 2 things that changed your world here are sales related, because I realized what was missing in my life, although I had a partner at the time, a guy buddy partner of mine, who was very like-minded. He was a data person just like me, maybe even more so. What I needed was a salesperson from a business perspective, and she came in and very politically correctly looked around and said, "This is a freaking disaster. Like, no wonder this doesn't work anymore." Mm-hmm. And so she got on the phone, which no one has ever done up to that point in my career, including me. And she took a lot of inventory that I nuked for morbid. It was over, and resold it, turned it into cash, started calling around, getting new deals. Anyway, she changed the whole thing. So then we moved on, and we were buying and selling land, and Jill and I were doing very well. I had a mantra that I had it at one point in my office on a sign on the wall that said, "No debt." And I learned that a long time ago from a lot of really smart people in my life. And so I told Jill, we were always running out of money, because we were spending money, we were making money, we were always doing really well. There's a lot left over, we were rolling it back in. So we were living very frugally, because most of the money we were putting back into land and converting it into money, and on and on. Until we sat down together, this was more me than Jill, and said, we got to bring on a money partner. And I don't mean a debt. I don't mean any type of debt. I mean a partner that we can share equity with, who doesn't own the company or anything like that, who's got a stake in the deals, the actual land deals that we do. And that changed our lives. So 2 of my 3 are partners. Jill is my partner, and then a money partner. Our money partner is long gone. Long gone. That only lasted about a year. But we needed to get a springboard. We needed to get ahead of the deal flow that I was creating. And we did. That's my story.
I love it. That was perfect.
Hey, join us tomorrow where Jill and I talk about what the next 10 years of land investing might look like. You are not alone in your real estate ambition.
We are Jack and Jill.
Information
and inspiration
to buy undervalued property.
We hope you find our content valuable and we appreciate your support. If you have not already, please check out our channel and hit the subscribe button.
And your comments and suggestions help us to create the content you're here for. Hitting the like button helps to support our channel's algorithm and gauge your interest for future shows.